All right, folks, it is finally time for the finale of season 1 of M.O.D.O.K. on Hulu as a Hulu original. This episode is Days of Future M.O.D.O.K.S, which I love to play on words here of Days of Future Past and all the other X-Men stuff we've been doing this entire season. It only made sense that they had to pay towards one of the most famous storylines and comic book series within the S-Man run. So, yeah, and I had a suspicion of where this was going to go, but I also am so baffled about how much I was wrong about the suspicion of where this is going to go. I really thought this episode we were going to get more from the board, more in terms of Monica and Iron Man and all that kind of build up with episode 9. But like we went back to the family and the core issues that essentially started this season, and you know the middle chunk of it focused on M.O.D.O.K. and his professional life and the villain-ish things. But like this was all about essentially starting with Lou and the Lou's time 2. And his bar-mitzvah and him not having no friends there because M.O.D.O.K. didn't get the memo, and he had to call up some of his homies that we seen in the previous episodes, the bottom tier of villains. And you know, it was more of a rekindling moment of the family. I think it was a little bit of a surreal moment when they looked around and realized like Lou isn't happy, and we all know that Lou has been, you know, by his therapist, or was it his therapist or his rabbi. His rabbi, thank you. That said that like he's internally not happy, and we got to see that, which, you know, it definitely made me feel a certain type of way, because it was like we seen him with this uppity up energy in the beginning of it. We've seen him like that at all times, but like to actually kind of see him really be bored and kind of kicking the rocks a little bit, it was like, yeah. Even 2 lose wasn't good enough. I mean, they were playing I can't think of the name of the game, but the card game they were playing.
Yeah, is this your card?
Is this your card? Yeah, like, man, I'm telling you, that was kind of like, that kind of hit the spot. I was like, man, poor Lou, man. But that was, you know, the first part of this episode. And I will be honest, this is going to be the episode that I will go back and watch at some point. I will probably watch the whole series over again, but I will specifically go back and watch this episode because it had a lot. And even between the first part of this episode, focusing on the family and Lou and everything, then things got really interesting when the past
M.O.D.O.K.
comes to the current M.O.D.O.K. And to me, I started thinking this is the inevitable, because we need to see M.O.D.O.K. become the supervillain he is. At some point, you think that the show is going to want to get to that point.
Right.
And then we meet the future M.O.D.O.K., who he has his utopia. He has everything he wants. At least we think, besides his family. And, you know, past M.O.D.O.K. tells him that you only get to this by the love of your family, who ultimately dies. So you have to let me do this. And so, you know, there's a little bit of tug of war there.
Right.
M.O.D.O.K.'s not in his true self-respect form, because he's legitimately, I don't think he's for it, but we'll talk about it. But then we see the future M.O.D.O.K., who has everything. Right. He done slayed the Avengers. He done got their relics all over the hallway. He even got the Infinity Gauntlet. So like he's done some things.
Ultron's head.
Yeah. And it's just not enough. And because he needs his family, which is odd here. This is odd because this is not what we suspected. Nope. But that's my quick little synopsis of it. I'll say one other thing that I'll throw it to you is that overall for the season, I enjoyed it. Up and down, from the voice acting, from the laughs, from the Marvel comic book fan service that we got, for just the pure entertainment, the animation. Overall, I had a really good time with this. And I really hope, and this is not a given, because as I said, the Marvel TV division. And when I say Marvel TV division, I'm talking about the division that had Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., the Netflix series, and everything else before Disney Plus is essentially gone. That's why you didn't get that Ghost Rider series we were going to get on Hulu and whatnot. So that division's gone. But if they somehow, because you have to think, it is on Disney, which is, you know, Hulu is part of Disney, where this lives, but this is being branded as something else. how do we get a season 2? Because I would like one. I can't foresee this happening, because if it is adapted into this new the new division that's handling this, with the Falcon Winter Soldier,
Right.
and WandaVision, do they change the identity here? And that's the issue. And do they keep Marvel properties on Hulu? Which is the other issue. They lost Runaways, which is gone. Mm-hmm. They lost Cloak and Dagger, which is gone. Mm-hmm. There's nothing else on Hulu but this. This is why this was a surprise for it to happen in the first place. And now that I enjoyed this first season, which to me didn't feel like a throwaway, there was effort. As I said, the very first one, there was effort. And I firmly can say that through watching this, all 10 episodes now, we can say that there was effort put into this.
Yes.
And there's also a lot left in the tank. And I would like to see a season 2, but how? So we have to talk about that at some point, maybe not in this review, but that's just my quick thoughts about this episode, thoughts about the overall season. Overall, I'm happy. So Damien, what's your thoughts, man?
Okay, so I'll start with just the episode overall. You start with the Bar-Mitzvah, the Luz, and we have callbacks. Like we said, every single character that has appeared in the show wound up being recruited to be a part of Luz Bar-Mitzvah because M.O.D.O.K. tried to be a casting agent with his daughter, and as always, in pure M.O.D.O.K. fashion, sabotages it because he has shiny object syndrome, which I feel like that's a core element to M.O.D.O.K. He's just like, ooh, a squirrel, and then he's off to the races, even though he's rather intelligent.
Yeah.
So previous review, I thought, okay, we're going to get a culmination of everything. We're going to get the corporation. We're going to get Monica. We're going to get all this. But I did say, I guarantee you it's going to be family focused. And that's what it was. And here was the twist for me. It's when past M.O.D.O.K., I thought they were going to have like this brain brawl. We saw the Destroyer M.O.D.O.K. armor make an appearance, that those blueprints we saw from Gary earlier in the season come back. And then it happens. He shows him in Doctor Strange 14 million process to show every single adaptation of M.O.D.O.K.'s life. He fails. All the Avengers kill him, even Hawkeye. He dies on the toilet multiple times.
From the explosive lasagna.
From the explosive lasagna, which is a callback from what we said maybe 4 reviews ago of why do people keep eating here if it's going to give you explosive diarrhea? So he apparently dies from that as well. Go ahead.
And don't forget, Turkey Man also
and then
got his revenge.
Man got his revenge and just stabs him up. But they wind up killing each other and both dying at the same time. But there's one reality, one time stone found reality from that micron crystal in my man's head where he rules everything. And he shows it to M.O.D.O.K. Young shows old M.O.D.O.K. This is what you finally accomplish.
By the way, young M.O.D.O.K. Anomaly is what he's billing.
The Anomaly, yes. We will refer to him as the Anomaly for the rest of this review. So the Anomaly shows M.O.D.O.K. He wins. He succeeds through his family. So you're thinking, and again, I warned y'all. I said, happy ending, great. But wait a minute. No, this is M.O.D.O.K. There will be no happy ending.
Yeah.
And what winds up happening? He has to sacrifice his family when time freezes in order for him to achieve Emperor M.O.D.O.K. status. Because once he goes to that future, like Days of Future Past, we see M.O.D.O.K. sitting on a throne. But we don't see his face.
Throne.
The
Iron Man throne.
The Iron Man throne, which again is a callback to the boot from the first episode. So now he has a throne of Iron Man. But you don't
and Game
see
of Thrones.
and Game of Thrones. You don't see the face of future M.O.D.O.K. But when we get to that point, we realize he's miserable. He is depressed. He is sad. Yes, his family dying did give him the push to kill the Avengers, to take over the universe and the galaxy, or what have you. But he finds a way at the end of this season to bring you back in and root for him. And it's because he wants to have it all. He wants to be Emperor M.O.D.O.K. He wants to have his family. And that was one of the core issues this season, was him balancing the work-life balance. But he thinks he can do it because he's M.O.D.O.K., because he wants to change the world. And we're left with a cliffhanger again, where I'm thinking, oh man, we got 5 more minutes. Yeah, we're going to see some action. He kills the Anomaly in the future because he has him tied up to a torture device, because he keeps wanting to go back to the past and see his family, moments of his family, to remember his family. And then he finally kills his future self, I guess his past self. He kills him, But then he says, how am I going to get my family back now? I need to bring them from the past to this future. So the anomaly is now dead. The crystal has died out. And his henchman says, we can't bring them back. He goes, yes, we can. And we will. And it ends on that cliffhanger.
Yeah.
And I'm over here thinking, wait, that's it? That's how you end it?
Yeah.
So now, to your point, we want more. But how do we get more? Does this transition into a Disney Plus property? Is it just they license it out to an animation company where they bring them in as a Marvel property, like a Sony thing? Who knows? But I will tell you this much. I didn't think I'd care about M.O.D.O.K. I didn't think I'd care about the character. You remember this first review? I said, holy crap, M.O.D.O.K. has a family. What the hell are we going to do with this? Now I want to see M.O.D.O.K. try to get his family back. But remember, he's still the bad guy.
Yeah, unless we're just living in the ultimate timeline of things, because I mean, that's at this point now where it's kind of feeling like they are going to just create their own little timeline of M.O.D.O.K. being a good guy and all sorts of just random, pun intended, anomalies happening. But I think also too, I think that it was interesting is that, you know, in regular time travel logic, most people think if you kill your past and your present self dies. And we've known from Endgame or Infinity War that technically you don't. When you actually create a time, when you actually do such, you just create a new stream. I mean, that's what the Ancient One basically said. Anytime you do it, you just create a new stream. And I think, you know, they're playing high on that logic again. So like, just for that, you know, we can just say like, well, what does that ultimately mean now for the path of the current M.O.D.O.K. We know the path, the future one who has his utopia, has it all set, has everything he wants. We know the past one who was trying to drive the current one to get to the point of becoming the future one, which is a ploy, it seems like, because they were using him. Or was he trying to, well, they were using him to try to get him to motivate him to get to that point. Or is he just using them to try to help set up a way to get him to get his family into it? With that being said, there seems to be a lot of like unanswered questions here, which again is good for us and anyone else who wants to see more. Now we don't really actually know where they're going to go with the next one. We still got AIM 1 and 2 still existing, and also AIM 1 must be thriving because Melissa Melly has a Stark phone now, which, you know, she was pro Team Grumble before, but, you know, now she got the Stark phone. So it looks like A1 is starting to get them products out in collaboration with Stark Industries.
That was a good line because I just remembered it when he says, I gave you $800 to get a new camera, and she got like the Stark Apple phone, you know, to take pictures and put googly eyes on people. So yeah, there's a collaboration between AIM-1 and Iron Man making products. So I guess there's no more grumble at this point.
Because I mean, again, we know that the board, they're trying to get a new CEO. And, you know, we kind of left a super threat that's out there just hanging. So like, you know, we got a couple of things we can still focus on. I mean, even this, we got plenty of opportunities to introduce new characters. I mean, there's no way they can actually introduce X-Men into technically the MCU without it happening on the bit screen first, because that's that money to be made. You know, you don't do that. You don't do that here. However, about time of season 2 comes around, you know, which if it does, I can probably confidently say late 2020 or early 2023, we will have seen a bunch of different crazy things done happening, considering that we got a whole slate of movies coming, and you know, just as fast as they did Civil War to get Spider-Man in there, they can do that to any film. So don't think don't think for 1 second that just because a film has already been done or started filming or whatever it may be, that they can't quickly say, that Wolverine guy, he's pretty lucrative, let's get him in there for a clip. And let's not forget December 2022, excuse me, we got the ultimate movie that can change everything, and that's that Spider-Man movie that's truly going to play up to the Spider-Verse. And who knows? Yeah, who knows what that may entitle? So a lot of things that can happen. But strictly talking about this is that I would like to see more of this. I would like to see more of this style of Marvel on television.
And this is going to be my question to you. Actually, that's actually what I thought of. Because you know how we have the DC animated universe, right? What if this could be a test? Instead of doing it animated, like trying to copy the DCEU, what if we went another direction and did everything as a claymation modeled Marvel, like an animated show?
Yeah.
I don't know the budget for that. I don't know how much it costs, but I gotta think it would be a little cheaper to animate 80s and 90s toys, in this realm, and kind of be tongue in cheek with this humor. Because remember, there was a callback to Whirlwind showing up at the Bar-Mitzvah, and apparently, he's a stalker of multiple heroines of the Marvel universe.
Everybody.
But
Storm, he said She-Hulk.
She-Hulk. She-Thing.
She-Thing.
So I guess my question is, could you use this as a springboard to do an animated universe where it's in this style, in this format, or could you only pull this off with M.O.D.O.K.?
No, you can obviously do more. M.O.D.O.K.'s a villain, so you easily can use any superhero and do so, and you can do any tier superhero and people will be invested. My issue is that when Marvel was so scattered, when you had like Avengers Assemble on Disney XD, you had to go out the way to find these things. And I thought the first Avengers, Earth's Mightiest Heroes, was
my favorite.
Was one of the best shows they put out. And then they rebooted that, and then they did Assemble, and I didn't like that. And then they did the Black Panther one. They just kept doing it, but at the same time, it's just like they didn't have an identity. They just kept saying, this is popular in live action, give us the animated one. This feels like it's its own unique thing, and it also could, again, it's different from the other, and I think it is going to draw fans. And again, as much as we reference Robot Chicken, not only because they are the animators, it's because it's one of the most popular shows of that time, and everybody can resonate with it. Everyone remembers it. It was on one of the most popular late night slates of television. Yeah, you remember it specifically, and I think that that's what's going to work with this, is that the animation, you may know this property, but it's a Marvel thing, so you're definitely going to be interested. And maybe M.O.D.O.K. was the testing of it, but God knows if they did anybody else, Captain America, they can, let me think of like the most, right? They could do one with this Nick Fury, and people would be in for it. And you have to think, people have to voice these people. So the moment you do something like this, and you start throwing like really world renowned voice actors attached to it, it's a whole new thing coming. Kyrie Payton, who voices Cyborg and so many other black heroes and all black characters in this genre. I don't know if he's even attached to anything Marvel, but his voice is so iconic. You throw him on anything, people are going to be like, oh, for sure. Not even a question.
Of course.
And there's so many different people that goes up and down the board like that. And I think, there's going to be people that just like it for Marvel, people that's going to fanboy because of the casting, and obviously because of the property, and obviously because of the animation. So like, it's a win-win, and I think they need to figure out a way how it's going to do it. And all this like could be very exciting, but also could mean a bunch of nothing, because we've seen them not care about other things that had fell victim to the demise of Marvel television. Because I really liked the Runaways, and when they were going to do the Cloak and Dagger thing, and I was getting all hyped for that, when they were going to do the they did one episode, yes, but they were going to do a whole series of them being connected, and they were like, yeah, by the way, nah. So that's my thoughts about that. I want to throw it out to you all. Definitely let us know overall what you thought about this season. Episode 5 is still my favorite episode, nonetheless. Episode 5 and which one had the fight? I think that was 7.
7.
Yeah, 5 and 7 were my 2 favorite. And it's just a fantastic job. I enjoyed this and I want more. And I don't know if we'll get more, but while we have this, I'm going to be appreciative of it. What's your closing thoughts on this?
Well, kudos to Patton Oswalt for making me want him to be M.O.D.O.K. from here on in. We even get a quick Patton Oswalt like shot
Yes,
of,
indeed.
of his live action face and the
Yep.
M.O.D.O.K. body, which oddly fit well.
Yep.
I really thought this show was going to go left and it went right. And I've told you before, I didn't know what to expect.
Yeah.
But it struck a really good balance of humor, kind of pulling at the heartstrings with a little bit of action and a whole bunch of callbacks. So it's almost like a rewarding Easter egg every single episode, but not just from Marvel Easter eggs. Throughout the course of the show, there were all these callbacks that, if you were paying attention, they come to fruition in the latter episodes. My personal favorite is random because it's Arcade. Just having Arcade be in this show for the episode and a half, he was a part of it. I thought that was really good, and he was just maniacal. This was just a well done show, and I am pleasantly surprised at the effect that this show will have on all those watching it, especially us who just got to review this and watch this before everybody else. So please, everyone, enjoy it. Please share your comments, all your concerns about what we watch, what we all watch together as a team. I give this a strong 7 to 8 out of 10. It wasn't perfect, no, but it wasn't supposed to be. You know, it was what it was, and it leaves you wanting more. And I think that's the bottom line. Now, hopefully, we get more.
Yes, I'm right with you. 7 overall for your same sentiments. And I throw it out to you all too. Definitely let us know what else you would like to see us cover in the comments below. Now that we're done this, seems like we got a bit of free time and a little bit of searching for our next big I'll say animated series that y'all want to see that's coming out.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely let us know and we'll be on board. But as always, until then, folks, we'll see you around. Thank y'all for sticking with us for 10 episodes, and hopefully we'll have you join us for another series coming very soon. So thank you for watching, folks, and we'll see you soon.
Peace.